what inspired you to create Not Your Daddy Films?
Just by doing the work. We are all so we have 5 co-founders. We are 2 of them, Carlye Tamaren Nicole Lipp, and multi-hyphenates. So I started as an actor, dancer. I started directing and writing, producing, editing, doing all of this, just trying to figure out how to be a filmmaker. You know, I think a lot of artists are full artists. You know, like there shouldn't just have to be one avenue for them. So when I started directing and writing, then I needed somewhere to screen my work for my friends, and then we all ended up coming together pretty organically and provide a space simply to show things and to talk to each other and to commiserate and to grow together. I didn't have that.
Yeah, I think a lot of young girls who, I'll speak for myself, as a young girl, I never didn't want to be an actor. From like, I popped out of the womb and was like, I'm an actress, hand me my Oscar now, thank you. And I think that was just me knowing in my bones that I wanted to be part of this filmmaking, TV making world. And I'm now a recovering actor because I think as a young girl, I didn't have very many examples of women doing anything besides acting. It just wasn't an option. I didn't know that that was like allowed. And I now, you know, it took me a long zigzag journey doing lots of things other than acting and filmmaking. But the first time I ever directed something, it was like feeling like when you know, you know. And that felt so good. And I think a lot of women in our generation have had a similar experience. And they come to Not Your Daddy's Films and they see work by other women and by non-binary filmmakers, and they're inspired and they have people to look up to, people to learn from, people to connect with. And I think building that community and that platform has just been like the most fulfilling possible thing.
It's been so special.
Yeah.
And also it's like that whole thing of if you don't see it happening, like if you don't see yourself in what's being represented on television, etc., like you don't know. You know, I had no idea that I could be a director or that I might even be good at that. So I think another big thing too is just encouraging that multi-hyphenate altogether of like getting to see all these other women that are actually directors and actors or directors and producers, a writer, you know, it's just like there is so much more in us than we've been allowed to share, so.
Do not stay in your lane. Just
Yes.
don't. Take up every fucking lane that you want to take up because we contain multitudes.
Sure do.
Well, actually, one of the things I notice with my students is a lot of students, when they don't see themselves, it's very subconscious. Like, well, I'm just not going to take that field. I don't see myself as a recording artist or a director because there are not enough women non-binary. So it is vital to see it. How has that been for you, though, giving back to seeing the community, bringing these younger artists like, oh my God, there's actually hope for me?
God. I mean,
It's been amazing. When we started Not Your Daddy's Films, not even 2 years ago, the 5 of us founders were like 5 of the only women directors that we personally knew. Obviously, there's millions of us out there, but we just didn't have those personal connections yet. And over the past almost 2 years, I cannot count how many women and non-binary filmmakers I have now met or learned about or connected with on the internet or at one of our events. And it's been incredible. And then at the same time, you know, I know that we are out there. I know that there are countless women, non-binary people, people of color who are doing phenomenal work, but we still see the statistics are terrible. We are still seeing like the sad minimal number of women who are nominated for Oscars, nominated for Emmys, you know, in certain categories. Like, it's crazy that that is still happening. So we see a lot of hope and progress, but we see that there's like
it's still
so
a
much
fight.
work.
It is a fight every single day. And it's you know, we get fatigue all the time and we have to remind each other, just each other as like people, that like, okay, this is hard, but like you have to keep going. And it's been really, really special to have each other and our broader community, but to just encourage you to check in and be like, hey, where are you at on this project? How can I help? Who could I connect you to? And just be that cheerleader, because it is hard. It is a hard industry, but it's the Olympics, you know? And you have to be, you gotta develop some thick skin for that, but having each other is really helpful.
And also realizing that, like, there's room for all of us.
Yes.
And a win for any woman is a win for me, in my opinion. So obviously, it's a very competitive industry. There are only so many, you know, for every show, episode, there's one director, but there's like a million actors and crew members and, you know, et cetera. So I think obviously it's very competitive, but like anytime I see a woman's name in the credits as director, I'm like celebrating those wins, because the more of us that are doing this and killing it at it, the more the big guy on top is going to be like, oh, women are capable of directing? Who knew?
And they can make us money. See, the studio, where they probably realize, like, you know, we'll make money off them. It's, you know, it is greed.
Exactly.
Shocker, I know.
Yep.
It's crazy.